Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the Mark Order Podcast. Join the Mark Order.
Hello. It is Wednesday night, so you know what that means. It is the intro that everyone who covers AEW Dynamite uses. Now I tell you, for the Mark Order Podcast, it's me, Ryan, here with my buddy Joe. Not here with Kate. She should be here at some point, maybe, if we're not done by the time she's finished on Denise Salcedo's channel. But that's a whole other thing. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Ryan. We're halfway through the week, so that's good. We have playoff baseball. I don't care about any of the teams, but I enjoy watching it. So all is well. How are you?
I don't care about it. I'm good. I don't care about any of the teams either. I just want them all to lose.
Misery loves company. I gotcha.
Exactly. Actually, I mean, I hate to say I'm cheering for the AL, which if it ends up being the Yankees, I'm gonna have to cheer for the Yankees, and that just hurts.
No. Move on to hockey.
I've already moved on to hockey. Flyers got a good young rookie. We're doing well. Big G, I actually am hoping the Guardians make a comeback. I would love the Guardians are my team right now, so that's not boding well for the Guardians because my other team is gone.
Yeah, every team you like is awful, so don't curse the Guardians.
Not every team.
Most teams. Hello, Big G, and hello, Lord Kev and Scott George. Thanks for jumping in early.
Sorry, I had to take I was sitting in a very uncomfortable position for the night, and I have a bad knee. Great Mallrats callback. But I have a bad knee, and it was bent very awkwardly, so I'm a lot of pain. I was taking some Tylenol. But yeah, no. So how was your week, Joe?
I think it's been okay. I don't think anything eventful has happened, so that's good.
What about uneventful stuff?
Oh, plenty of uneventful stuff. No, I did laundry. I rotated my closet of summer clothes to winter clothes or fall clothes.
You have that?
Yeah, I'm that person.
Oh, Joe, my rotation basically goes shorts away, jeans in place.
I'm surprised you just don't have the pants with the zipper off, so you can just convertible pants.
Have them? No, I never actually had them. I lie. I never had those. I never. You know what? It's probably such a bitch to put that zipper back on that it's just easier to switch to jeans. And that's basically the one change I make. I mean, I have some long sleeve shirts, but I mostly wear t-shirts even in the winter. So and this is, you'll almost always see me with an undershirt if I have to go to a work thing because I wear an undershirt to work things. So yeah, this is my wardrobe.
I wish I could be that minimalistic.
Only about this stuff. Other things I spend unnecessarily, but when it comes to my clothes, I don't care.
Sure, we all have our things.
So, did you catch Wrestle Dream live this weekend?
I did. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to, but I caught it, and I was overall pleased with the wrestling of it.
Was it all a dream?
It wasn't a dream show, but it was a good show, and it seemed to be, have some polarizing aspects to it.
It was all a dream. Used to read Word Up magazine. That's right. Yeah, it was. It was a really good wrestling show. For light builds on some of it, it's surprising how well it all came together. We're not going to go match by match. It's been 4 days since it happened, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Saturday,
yeah. So we don't need to, and we've had a Dynamite in between. I'm going to just go things that stand out, or So Jay White, I'm gonna bring up that I like that he got the victory. Clearly trying to rebuild him into an actual legitimate contender for not just maybe title but main event, and I really appreciate that. Takeshita won. Any thoughts on George
Yeah.
Scott George saying Ryan went out of here by 11? No, Ryan doesn't necessarily went out of here by 11. We're For those listening, we're playing Ryan Guesses Wrestling tonight. I missed all of Dynamite for something, so I get this. So I'm more excited to play that than I am to cover Wrestle Dream. I have thoughts though, and trust me, our coverage of Wrestle Dream isn't going to be super quick because once we get to the two matches I really want to discuss, I have some thoughts. So, but what do you think of Takeshita winning?
It was the right call. I think the majority of us probably felt that same way. I don't know how he was underdog going into the match, but I just think there's more to get out of him winning the international championship, and then with him being able to, go on the road and defend it across the country, across the world. I think will be really good for him and for the title.
Yeah, I mean, you hope that they actually like. I think I've saw him. He's lined up somewhere already to defend it. Um, that would be the cool thing with that. If he goes around defending it at all places, like that's what it's supposed to be, or at least that's what it felt like when they first announced it. Uh, I guess it's hard to say my problem with this match without, again, we're not spoiling anything, but without tying it into the main event. So I want to come back to this. So I know I said I have the thoughts, but it all ties into the main event. I will say I'm happy that he won though. He needs it. They clearly know he's a star, and you can't have it like he's at the point now where if he kept losing, it would crush those hopes. So he needed this win, and it was huge. The other match before we get to the main event, put a pin in that one because I do want to. That's my work talk. We're gonna put a pin in that. I'll come back and was I loved the private party Young Bucks match. Really thought uh private party might pull that out. I mean the crowd was into it. Uh it felt like the build to it, like there wasn't a long build, but it felt like the promo package and all they did was really lining out the private party. However, I'll say, and this is my one opinion on this, a lot of people saying, oh, they should have pivoted or something. Um, fans are so into it. The private party has not been that. I mean, they've been great as actual like the wrestlers themselves. I'm talking character wise, has not been that good up until like the last 3 weeks. Like they had lost a ton of matches. Like in the story world of AEW, they had lost a ton of matches. So like it wouldn't make a lot of sense that suddenly they win. Now the advantage a team like Private Party has is they're young and they're super talented. So I don't think Stokely's the guy, but if you team them up with someone and a match or something who like Miyagi'd them and like was like, I'm going to kind of like, you know what, better example than that because Miyagi took a wasted of talent, Danielson, who sucked, but not Danielson, but Danielson. It's like the mid-season coach change where like they just get that coach who somehow knows how to motivate the right player, the talent, and the team to take them to the cup in like hockey or championship in other sports. That's what they need here. They need that mid-season coach change to get them over. What do you think of the Bucks match, and did you think it was right that the Bucks won?
I thought it was really good. I think these two teams have really, really good chemistry. I think that's been shown over the past, 4 or 5 years of their matches. I thought halfway through the match, I thought, well, maybe Private Party is going to win this. But in the end, I think it's the right call to keep it on the Bucks for now. Although if someone is going to dethrone the Bucks, I think Private Party would probably be the right call. Now they have some more adversity and they've come close. I think they can come back down the road and get the belts off of them.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job of. I have no again. We're playing Ryan Guesses Wrestling because Ryan didn't see tonight. Um, I think it would be a mistake to do what they did with the Acclaimed and Lucha Bro. I think it was Lucha Brothers. I could be wrong. Where like the Acclaimed were heavily cheered the one match and didn't win, and then not was it the oh, no, it was Swerve and Keith Lee. So it was the Acclaim versus Swerve and Keith Lee, where the Acclaim was heavily cheered the one match, but they didn't win, they lost, and they immediately had a rematch, and the Acclaim won. Like, don't do that. That doesn't work. What I think you should do is have Private Party have to re-earn their title shot. But this time, instead of losing for weeks up into it, they just keep winning, and you just see the growth of being like they were this close and they realized they had it in them, and they just kept winning. I mean, the match itself was great.
Yeah, and what it's done for Private Party is kind of pivot their characters a little bit more to be more serious than the Private Party dancing, doing the shot dance and all that stuff. So I like how they've matured them a little bit as a tag team through this story.
Yeah, I think they need that. They need that that maturity of a team. Like, they can still be fun, you can still do silly things, but it's they need the Orange Cassidy thing where it's like you could see him being silly and goofy, but then in a match he flips the switch and all of a sudden like he's super serious and like what he developed into a similar thing where like you can do that translation. Then we go to the main event where Jon Moxley beat Bryan Danielson to essentially retire Bryan Danielson, and he won the championship. And then after the match, re-murdered, I guess, is Bryan Danielson. Like, he's already murdered him once, but I guess he did it again. Oops, he did it again. Put the plastic bag over his head. Then the locker room emptied out. Well, slowly the locker room emptied out to go save Danielson. JR's call of not Jeff Jarrett might be one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It was perfect. But the big moment, and this is where it ties into the Kesha story, is you had Wheeler Yuta come out. And you thought, oh, he's got to stand up for Bryan Danielson. It's him and Danielson versus the world. And he turned on him. Dastardly Yuta. And that's what led to Danielson dying at the hands of Moxley. But in the Takeshita match, Kyle Fletcher did the same exact thing to Ospreay.
Yeah. So you're saying, was that something different or not done them on the same show? Or
It doesn't bother me personally because the stories are different. You have a best friend storyline that's going to continue afterwards where Ospreay's like, hey, what the hell? Versus Danielson was my mentor. I had to kill Danielson to continue to move forward with this group, and Danielson's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw people online had problems and felt they were too similar together. Do you feel that way, or?
Oh, I think the way you framed it with the motives being different, of one being jealousy and the other one being I'm taking your spot now, and this is how we do that. We jump you out. I think knowing, having the understanding those two different motivations is good, but if that's not translated on TV when you're watching it, then it feels very similar. So I get why people might be upset, but I think that helps differentiate the two. I'm fine with it. And then there's two different ways of doing it.
Yeah, and I think that the outcomes of the two help too. Whereas I don't know, again, didn't see tonight. I'm assuming Yuta was with the BCC. I'm assuming Fletcher was with the Callis family. But the difference is, like, I don't know if Ospreay came out tonight to confront Fletcher, but that's a thing that's going to happen. So, like, Fletcher is going to have to deal with the repercussions of his actions. Yuta is not. The only thing Yuta has to deal with is the fact that he's now with a group that is extremely violent and he has to stay with them. But he's not going to have a direct response to the repercussions of his actions. Like, he's going to be just living with this group. The only issue I have with Yuta being part of it is Yuta. I like Wheeler Yuta a lot. They must feel like he has more potential of growth being in the uber violent faction versus the huge babyface thing he had if he had stood up when he was standing up for Danielson. I just feel like there was chance for Yuta and you killed it, and now he's going to be just another member of the of the heel faction. Like, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know if he specifically gets booed tonight or anything, but he just becomes another member of this faction, whereas he would have been standing on his own as the babyface. However, it has happened in the history of wrestling where that guy stands on his own as a babyface and does not, it like just burns out. Like, you get your one story and you're done. And maybe being part of a big place like the BCC keeps them big for longer. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
Listening to you talk about you, I was thinking about his character throughout his time in AEW, and just how he's always been kind of conflicted internally about trying to fit in somewhere, whether it's the best friends or whether it's the BCC, and trying to prove himself. And he always seems very codependent for some reason. Like, he can't trust being on his own. So I think it's more interesting for her character to go uber heel and violent, and to see what that does to him in the long run, and how he eventually, what he gets from his time of being this aggressive guy, and if he'll repent for his errors and his ways.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if if you're willing to put the time into it, that is a nice long term story where like Yuta versus the Fallout. The Yuta versus is like living with his decision.
How does
Does he
he
get
reconcile with things?
does he get crazier and crazier? Does he go off the deep end? Does he get kind of depressed? That's not a bad long term story, and you don't have to tell it right away. That can be very, very slowly. If it were me, and I actually am not normally the fantasy booker here, but if it were me, it would be he gets crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier to the point where even Mox and like Pack are like kind of like side eyeing. I'm like, just what did we do? Why is this kid crazy? Because I think that would just be fun, personally.
Yeah, I mean, you eventually end up creating your own monster that destroys yourself. And fantasy booking hat on, Danielson is healthy enough down the road to have a match with Yuta, and maybe he just pummels the shit out of him, and help set him straight again.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, that would be a lot of fun. It's a shame we don't know if Danielson will ever return, because like that would like even again a part time, but he just comes back and destroys Yuta. Now I will say at the end of the show when Yuta, after the BCC killed Danielson, the locker room did eventually empty out, and the three big people that they focused on were Darby, Orange Cassidy, and Daniel Garcia. Now I will say Orange Cassidy earlier in the night had a weird thing where who was it?
I was also adding Hook. I think Hook is also a part of
Yes,
this.
Hook. But who was it that went up to Orange Cassidy earlier in the night telling him he should go for the title? I know Hook was one of them.
That was Hook, and then
Chad, if you remember, please. But it was weird because it didn't seem to like fit on the pay-per-view, like this one-off segment. But then you mix that with the end that he's one of the big focus, and you're like,
mhm.
is this where we're going with this? Is he going to be the guy challenging?
Maybe maybe the BCC is the group that took out Taz.
Jerry Lynn. Thank you, Big G. I forgot who it was. Yeah, so Jerry Lynn. So is this? Oh, BCC takes out Taz. Jerry Lynn has. I'm all in. We're going for this.
Okay.
We'll see. Any final thoughts on Wrestle Dream?
No, I thought Mariah Mays and Willow's match was solid for being kind of a late addition.
Oh yeah, that was a very solid match. Light on story but good on match. Mariah May is listen. There's a reason. Is where she is. She's very good on the mic, and she's a very good wrestler. And Willow is just the most lovable baby face they have.
I'm glad that Jericho didn't win the ROH title.
Thank you, God.
That was a surprise for me.
Me too.
And otherwise, I felt like the card was pretty long. I thought it was kind of a long show. I think they could have put some of that stuff, a couple more of their matches on 0 hour.
You're right. I Jericho's match should have been on 0 hour.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
All right. Well, there you go. That was our 20-minute Wrestle Dream recap. Again, we're 4 days removed. We don't need to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to tell you that if you like us and you want to support us directly, give me some of your money. Here comes the money. Sorry. You can go to prowrestlingtees.com/markorderpod or go to the link tree in any of our socials at markorderpod and go to our Pro Wrestling Tees store and buy one of our 4 awesome designs. Logo front with name, just name with logo on back, and then bucket square with logo on back. Kate describes them differently, but that's how I describe them because that's how I see it in my head. So buy one of our t-shirts, buy all 4 of our t-shirts, buy 26 t-shirts, 32 if you really are cool, and support us. But aside from that, we are on what is known as the Shining Wizards Network. There's a bunch of great shows. I will say, go check out I check out all these shows all the time. Shining Wizards this Monday had Crowbar on for an interview, and he kind of helped clarify a little bit of the drama of the weekend with some independent wrestling. So that's a little fun story there. I feel like I went to church lady there. Because I literally was wanting to follow it up with, isn't that special? And this is where my brain works. I go to weird characters. But yeah, so they're always good. And they've been doing it for a long, long time. But they went to a show this weekend. Things popped off. Crowbar kind of explains it. So I encourage you to go listen. But if you want to know about the other shows on the network, you're like, all right, we know about the Shining Wizards, but what about the rest? Then I say, go listen to one of these great shows.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in every Monday night to listen to The Shining Wizards. If you'd like to continue to support us outside of listening, we've got a few ways for you to do that. If you shop at Amazon, go over to amazon.shiningwizards.com, do your shopping as usual, and when you make your purchase, a little bit of that purchase price will go back to support the show. If you like to wear t-shirts, merch.shiningwizards.com will take you to our Pro Wrestling Tees store, where we've got over a dozen great designs from over 11 years of professional wrestling podcasting. You can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/wizardspodcast, where each and every week we call out your name as one of our show producers, and the more you support us, the more things that you're entitled to receive, and believe me, they are fantastic. If you can't support us monetarily, if you don't shop at Amazon, that's absolutely fine. Continue to listen to us wherever you listen to us on the World Wide Web, and make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, helps us out, and we can continue to bring you the love fest that is The Shining Wizards.
What's up, folks? It's your boy, the Impact Player, Mr. Philly Ray, inviting all of you to check out the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast. Join us as we cover all things current in the world of pro wrestling, as well as paying homage to the old school, the Squared Circle. So listen in and find out why we are the recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting. Find us on all social media platforms and anywhere you get your podcast from. And as always, we are the proudest members of the Shining Wizards Network and Rant Entertainment Media.
Are you tired of being lied to every day by the mainstream media?
Do you want to know what's really going on in the world?
Do you want to make up your own mind about things and not be told what to think or say?
Then listen to Inconclusive Breakdown, a weekly anti-PC look at the world of entertainment and current events, brought to you without censorship or filters.
You can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts, BitChute, and on ShiningWizardsNetwork.com.
And also, we're a proud member of the Shining Wizards Network.
Got 30 minutes to kill?
Come check out 30 Screams or Less, where we review a horror movie in 30 minutes or less. We cover new movies and old ones too.
We'll give our honest thoughts on the movie, good or shit, as well as a rating of each one that we watch.
New episodes weekly, available on the Shining Wizards Network and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Corey.
Come check us out at 30 Screams or Less.
G'day guys, my name is Thomas, one half of the Broadcast Podcast. With our podcast, we go back and watch wrestling events from WWE, WWF, WCW, ECW, AEW, and many other wrestling promotions. You can check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast, that's TheBrokast, and you can also download all episodes on Apple Podcast, Castbox, Castro, and many other podcast apps.
If you like your music heavy, then check out Radioactive Metal on the Shining Wizards Network. For over 16 years now, Radioactive Metal has been one of the longest running podcasts. Over the years, we've interviewed some legendary metal acts, had some awesome discussions, and cranked a hell of a lot of tunes. So join your cool Uncle Snowy and his co-host Aaron for the audio mosh pit that is Radioactive Metal here on the Shining Wizards Network.
Well, the action is underway!
What's up, everyone? When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure to check out Wrestling Night in Canada. If we're not recording another kick-ass podcast,
Or playing in punk bands,
or recording kick-ass heavy metal albums,
then we're sitting back, we're grabbing a couple brews, and going over everything to do in the world of pro wrestling.
Because we're from Winnipeg, you idiots.
The Mark Order Podcast is the only show you need if you're looking for dedicated coverage of everything AEW on the Shining Wizards Network. Join us live on YouTube every Wednesday night at 10:15 p.m. Eastern after Dynamite to chat along with the show. If you can't join us live, listen to us on your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all social channels at MarkOrderPod and use the hashtag #JoinTheMarkOrder, because if you don't find us,
we will find you.
I'm Kevin Rogue.
I'm Al Day.
And we're a couple of down under pounders that co-host Rogue Day Dots, an action figure collecting podcast where we talk about, well, just about anything that tickles our fancy at any given moment.
We're grumpy old men, and sometimes people get on our nerves. And when you get on our nerves, guess what? You get off the lawn.
Get off my lawn, asshole! We also go on a little bit of a mission. We go back and we're grading every wrestling figure line that's out there. I'm talking LJNs. I'm talking Jacks. I'm talking Hasbros. Who doesn't like a little Hulkaplex? It's a Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production found on the Shining Wizards Network.
I'm Duke Bags.
Kevin Rowe.
And together we are the co-hosts of Your Duke and Road. If you want to hear about some terrible wrestling shows, we got you covered.
Well, we talk about good ones, too.
We're currently talking about the death of WCW.
I know what we're fucking talking about. Sometimes we get guest spots, like from the Taskmaster. I like to listen to the Year of Duke and Rope podcast. They're funny guys. I like when they talk about the Nards plows. I like Nards plows. That's a good move. And I like the Dungeon of Doom. You know, sometimes I call my butt the Dungeon of Doom. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Oklahoma.
Let me tell you a little bit about my favorite wrestling podcast. All right. It's a podcast with two men, Duke Bags, Kevin Rowe. They talk about professional wrestling. It's a man's sport. All right? And who better to talk about a man's sport than Oklahoma?
And once in a while, Vince Russo stops by.
Oh, you piece of shit! If you're not listening to the You're a Duke and Rope podcast in the back with the boys, you piece of shit, I don't know what you're doing. It's, you gotta slide one in there. If you're a man, you're talking about something only a man can do. You're talking about sliding one in there. Bro, take the time to slide one in there. All right, bro, you piece of shit, slide one in there. A Gorilla Brain Wrestling podcast production that you can find on the Shining Wizards Network.
And we are back. So I, as I said, pre-commercial, missed AEW Dynamite. I had a commitment I couldn't get out of. But we enjoyed last time a little game called Ryan Guesses Wrestling. So I think that's what we're going to do tonight. So I pass this. Hey, Jesse. I pass this on to who?
Yes, it's our favorite made-up show now. It's Ryan Guesses Wrestling. And let me find my little video intro clip here. So here we go.
Oh, I love it.
That was Ryan Guesses Wrestling, yes.
For anyone who's unfamiliar, Joe's going to tell me the segment or match, and I have to see, based on my knowledge of AEW booking, if I can guess what happens. And then he grades me on, what was it, 50-50, either 50, what percentage I get. I made these rules up last time, so I forget what it was.
Let's go out of 4, and we'll kind of do like quarters. So like, 3 3/4, 4-star. We'll figure it out. And people in the chat, if you want to help me along and decide how accurate Ryan got, feel free to let him know in the chat as well.
The chat hates me.
Well, then that's your own doing. You spent a lot of effort and time making them hate you. So
that's fair. I have. So you reap what you sow. But okay, if they're gonna hate me, they're gonna hate me.
I'll probably do a lot of this in order instead of. I know usually our reviews we try to pair things together, but only a few segments were paired together, so I'll try to go chronological. So AEW tonight is live from San Jose, and we opened up with a little bit of a recap of the BCC after they, choke out Brian and decimate much of the locker room from Wrestle Dream, and we hear. We see them leaving all together in the back of a pickup truck like they usually do. And you hear Moxley speaking, and he's giving a little monologue while riding in the back of the truck bed. I don't know if there's anything you want to guess of what he talks about.
So this is Mox now talking.
Yeah, Mox is doing all the talking as they're driving away from the arena.
By saying something like, I love butterflies, rainbows, hugs and kisses. No, he my guess is he apologizes to Brian, saying like, you were in the way. This had to be done. A change was necessary. Something AEW needs to change.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something dark side.
I should have, but I didn't.
Okay, that's your answer?
That's my answer.
Okay. Well, you're halfway there, at least halfway, I think. He really just talks about how he hates what AEW has become. He kind of reinforces what he talked about before about egos being out of control, seeing guys celebrate and dance and party when they have nothing to celebrate, dance, or party about. So he thinks it's a lot of unwarranted celebration, and he was doing what had to be done in order to create a better future for the company. And it's basically kind of a you're either with us or you're in our way and against us message. And then he kind of closes out his talking segment with the new paradigm of AEW really means that everyone works for him now.
That doesn't make sense. Why would everyone work for him? He doesn't sign the checks.
Because he's a champion, so he runs the show.
I don't think that's how that works.
I mean, he always did say, it's not his company anymore. It's not Tony's company anymore.
Yeah, I think Mox is overstepping his bounds.
So I would say if we're doing like star search rules of how many stars out of 4, I would give you 3.25.
I appreciate it.
I think you got the gist of it.
And that's I appreciate it. I'll take that. I'll take that score. I didn't see everyone working for him, so that is. I don't believe it. I think that's a lie.
Mm-hmm. I will say that you don't ever see the belt.
So do we think he's doing something to the belt?
I'll be interested to see what happens. We don't see the belt, and we don't see
Leave
the belt.
The belt alone.
I mean, I packed through it into a bag, and that was it. So,
they're redesigning it. I'm curious what the redesign would be.
Yeah,
I don't think Moxley looks as tough with the belt.
That's true. Well, now we go live into the arena, and someone's music hits. Who likes the boom.
Costco guys are there?
No, not the Costco guys. It's Adam Cole.
Oh, but I wanted the Boomer Doom.
No, you got Adam Cole. There you go. He comes out of the ramp wearing a nice pair of expensive off-white Nike Dunks. And he said, "Get ready for story time with Adam Cole."
I guess he says "baby."
Well, yeah, a couple times.
Hey, I got to predict the segment. All right. So, am I predicting what I think he said?
Yeah. Let's see if you hit some of the talking points of his promo.
Well, he's got to be shitting on MJF because he came back with MJF. So he says MJF sucks. He said something like being out as long as he was made him rethink things a little bit, refocus, say how much he missed being out in front of the crowd, how much he missed his ring, how much he missed wrestling. Reiterates that MJF sucks. And then he's coming for something. Well,
you got some of it. You had a lot of generalizations.
It would have been a very general promo. He's not going to go specific shit.
Well, let me kind of give you the highlights of my notes of it. So he comes out. He first actually addresses Roddy and Matt Taven and Chris Bennett and Chris.
No, Mike Bennett.
Mike Bennett. I don't know what Chris Bennett. Mike Bennett. He addresses them, pretty much saying, he supports them, but like he told them when he came back, he has to do things on his own. So they kind of tied up that little thread of his connection with the Kingdom, the Undisputed Kingdom. So that was good. Then he gets into the MJF stuff, which is kind of the elephant in the room. He says sometimes you have to fight evil with evil, and he talks a little bit more about trust and how that he might be a lot of things, but Adam Cole is not stupid, and you have to be stupid to feel like you would ever trust Max. And that the person that Max is now is the real Max that he always has seen, whether it was during the time that he had friendship with him or whatever. He touches on MJF being scared and insecure and continues to have that issue, and how much he hates everything about Maxwell. And he then kind of closes it out with the usual, "I hate you, Max. Let's settle this right here, right now in San Jose, California," which then prompts MJF's music to hit. But he's not there. We get a video package instead. I guess any guesses about how you're going to have him respond? As he's responding from, looks like inside his house by a fireplace and a glass of wine.
Okay, so all right. That's it. Well, he comes up with some cheap insults because MJF loves the cheap heat. But basically, I'm better than you. And you hurt yourself just jumping off a ramp. You're frail. I can break you easily. You're pathetic. You need to fool me in order to get one up over me. I'm going to destroy you.
Well, MJF actually talks about how, he was tricked by Adam. He was tricked to let his guard down and to, open up his heart and trust him. And because of that, he can never trust again. And that the MJF that he sees now is a product of Adam's breaking of his trust. So he then says that he's never, much like Adam has left a void in him of not being able to trust anyone ever again, he wants to leave a void with Adam and never give him the satisfaction of having a match with him in the ring. So that is.
Should have remembered that MJF always tries not to wrestle.
Yeah. So that's basically him saying, like, you want this so bad, I'm not going to give it to you, and you just have to live with it.
Should have remembered that's like a big MJF thing that he avoids wrestling at all costs.
So I would give you, if I was rating you from how accurate you were with that segment, 1 3/4 stars.
Yeah, I bombed that one. I'm forgetting that Max doesn't like tries to avoid wrestling is a big mess up on my part.
Next up, we have Renee. Renee was a busy gal tonight. She had a lot of backstage interviews. She's joined by everyone's favorite learning tree.
It starts with, "Hi guys, it's me, Chris."
I should say this is actually. I'm sorry. I should clarify. This is actually Renee interviewing him right after the match at Wrestle Dream. So we
yeah. "Hi guys, that was BS. He got outside help. He cheated. He needed people. He couldn't beat me on his own. How dare he? I challenge you to a rematch in a cage."
Okay. Well, he didn't open up with hi. He just said he tells Renee that he feels vindicated. He claims Briscoe cheated to win, as he thought he would, and he wants a rematch so he can become a 2-time ROH champion, much like Jay Briscoe. So I think you got a lot of chunk in there. I think you got a good.
Is it a special match?
Next up, we're live backstage now with Renee, and she's joined by Mark to get his response.
I'm not even gonna try. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be a lot. I got nothing on what he actually says.
Well, Mark pretty much said the world saw him beat Jericho's ass. No, he knows Jericho says a lot of dumb stuff, but when he says his brother's name out of his mouth, he can't let that slide. So he agrees to the rematch, and the rematch will be next Wednesday. And he adds the stipulation of it's going to be a ladder war match. I don't know what ladder war means, as opposed to just a ladder match. But
you got me. I'm sorry. I don't know what a ladder war match is. I'm trying to think. No. Got it. I know what it is now. You're both stand on a ladder, different ladders, and you have to move your ladder and hit each other while hit your ladders together, kind of like chicken, but with a ladder.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just trying.
I'm going to give you a. You got most of the Jericho. You got a lot of the Jericho stuff as far as he needed help. He said that Mark needed help to win, and he won the rematch. So, I'll give you a 2.75, only because you didn't attempt the Mark Briscoe part.
I mean, how could I ever try Mark Briscoe?
I don't know, but it's decided. All rules are judgments are final. So 275.
I'll accept it. I mean, I think it's a little tough to do a Mark Briscoe promo.
He was a little bit more animated. He wasn't nearly as quiet and subdued like some of his past ones.
Yeah.
With Jericho. So all right. Well, that kind of leads into our tag match between FTR and Big Bill and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. Nope, no word of the day, Jesse. Sorry.
So where are we?
FTR versus Big Bill and Brian Keith.
Okay. Cash starts the match against Brian Keith. The learning tree dominates for a little while till Dax hits the hot tag and he comes in and clears house. Big Bill has some awesome moments. Crowd is really into Big Bill, and even Brian Keith, but they have to boo them because they're learning tree. It's a back and forth match. In fact, the learning tree looks far better has far more offense than people would expect from the learning tree. I think what story are they telling on this match? See, the story of this match has nothing to do with the learning tree. It's FTR, in my opinion, but I don't know what they want to tell with FTR right now because you got that FTR Outrunners thing. You have grizzled young vets, but I don't know if they're even around anymore. I'm going to say FTR wins with the is it Big Rig or whatever they call their move now, Shatter Machine. After the match, they cut a promo calling out challengers.
Okay. Well, you got the beginning and the end wrong. Dax starts out with Keith.
They really start. I mean, I should, as I said, it was Cash. I'm like, it's usually Dax that starts, but I thought maybe they'd flip it out on me.
Yeah, so Dax started out. He, does Dax things, punches and lights him up with chops. Does some nice tag work to Cash. Big Bill gets in. He starts, chopping people down because he's more like what his trunk said something about like more man than something. But anyhow,
he's like me, more man.
Yeah. So he comes in and dominates for a little bit. FCR eventually uses their tag team expertise and starts ping-ponging him back and forth with punches. And then Morrissey, Big Old Bill, comes back and delivers a Boston Slam to help even the odds. But Wheeler comes back with a suplex, tags a hardwood, clotheslines, lariats. Big Bill still tried to power out through them. I think Big Bill just dumps to the outside eventually, leaving Brian Keith all alone with Wheeler and Hardwood, and that sets up the Shatter Machine for the win. After the match, as FCR is celebrating, their music pauses for a minute, and the Outrunners music hits. And they come out and have their little, bonding moment, but because they've been kind of hanging out together lately. But in the meanwhile, and during the match, another team was watching on the monitor. Who was that team, Ryan?
I mean, it's not Grizzled Young Vets, but it should be Grizzled Young Vets. Top Flight.
LFI.
I forgot about LFI.
Mm-hmm.
LFO.
I will give you I'll give you 2. 2 out of 4.
You're so kind.
Well, you whined about the last one, so I gave you that extra quarter.
That's what whining gets you, kids.
All right. So we go backstage with Renee again, and she is joined with Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. What do you think the Acclaimed had to say? Besides Scissor Me. And everyone loves it.
Scissor Me. Max says something stupid. Hey, we said what we would do. We went out and did it. We're the best team. We put MXM in their place. Scissoring forever. Everyone loves the Acclaim. We're the best. We're the best. We're the best. Scissor Me, Daddy. Yes.
They didn't say Scissor Me, Daddy Ass. Billy left pretty early in the promo because after he said that they had 3 of the best bodies in AEW. Max showed off that he got his jacket back, where it says like what best wrestler or whatever it is. And when Renee asked him what's next for them, they pretty much said we want more. And then Shelton and MVP enter the screen, and MVP offers a business card to the Acclaimed, and Bowen says they don't need anything from him. And that is the end of that.
Interesting.
Segment. Yeah, that little backstage segment.
Interesting, because that feels like maybe they pulled Bowens out of that.
I think Bowens after he said no to him. Not
yeah, it feels like a swerve. Interesting.
I wouldn't mind him pull Castro out of that though. I'd rather have Bowens be the single guy.
Me either way, just let him.
I feel like Castro could be like the little runt and the Hurt Syndicate, like I don't know.
So, I mean, I guess maybe not to be whatever. Bowens is more beloved by fans, so if you're gonna have someone go face, he'd be the one to go face.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially as Max seems to have like more of the ego of the two of calling himself like the best wrestler.
Good call.
So if he thinks that he is that best, the best, that he can go on his own. He doesn't need Bowens, and Bowens is holding him back. He needs someone to help elevate him, like MVP. He could be that group Cedric in that position, a guy who athletic enough, can take some losses.
Yeah, you know what, that he kind of does fit that a little bit better.
Younger guy, so
they put him in a suit. Yeah, okay. You've convinced me.
All right. Well, we get the women's match early in the show, and it's the TNC Championship match between Mercedes and Queen Aminata. And this is kind of the fallout from their backstage interaction at WrestleDream. So all you have to do is have a backstage interaction with a champion and you get a title shot.
Say that again?
Who got
the title shot? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were introducing a new segment, like something new happened.
No, sorry.
Not what I knew already. Okay, I know that was my own confusion. Like, because I was like, who else are they giving a title shot to? Okay, no. Okay, we're good. Joe?
Yeah.
We're good. I'm good. Okay. Oh, you want me to do the match? We're at the match now. Okay.
Your prediction of Mercedes and Queen Aminata.
Sorry, I cut you off. So, starts out back and forth, but Aminata actually establishes control early. She's got the power where Mercedes throws around. So Aminata lands some impressive power moves against Mercedes' smaller frame. Mercedes does eventually regain control through some dastardly wrestling tricks. There is a dive to Tobe Suicida at someone because Mercedes loves that move. Mercedes in control. They go into picture-in-picture, eventually commercial. They come back. Aminata reverses things. She's on the offensive flurry. She threw Mercedes in the corner. Mercedes drops down to the ground. Amanana does her butt face smash thing. The hip check. You really think Amanana is about to pull it out. But then Mercedes reverses it and then lands her awkward new finisher, and she wins 1, 2, 3.
You had some things right in there. The finish was a little off.
Oh.
So you did have the Queen Amanada kind of like, you had the power display. You had Queen Amanada showing up Mercedes, trying to taunt her with, she did the money dance, and she also did the thing where she like rubs her butt on Mercedes' head while she has her like in a armbar. So we had that. Otherwise, the match early on was kind of back and forth, kind of feeling each other out. There was some involvement by Camille where Amanada tried to like take her out, and she got a little bit distracted here and there, which let Monet take advantage of that. Amanada had a nice air raid crash on Mercedes for a near fall. She had a sweet little spinning neck breaker for another near fall. She did really nice moves, like really snappy moves, like a snap neck breaker or a snap suplex. It really helped show off her power a lot. But in the end, Mercedes overcomes with her stick and move ability of being a smaller, faster wrestler. She hits the backstabber, and then that rolls into the statement maker, and Queen Amanada taps out.
Oh, so they had her tap out. I thought they'd avoid the tap out, but I guess not. I thought that might be like give Amanada that. But okay. Does anything happen after the match?
No.
Okay.
So I will say I'll say 2 again.
Yeah, I missed the ending big time. I would have thought they would have had Amanada to take the pin, not the submission. Not how I would have seen that ending.
Yeah, I feel like Amanada had a lot of heat, like a lot of like trajectory for a while. Now it kind of cooled off a little bit. Unless she's doing a lot more on ROH, I'm not seeing.
I mean, no, she's still. I mean, figure she was in this match. They love her, but and she was actually a big player in ROH for a little while, and they kind of pulled her up to the main roster. So I don't know, but it's just I wouldn't have done the tap on her, but that's just me.
Well, guess what? We get another backstage interview segment. I feel like they've added a lot more backstage interviews lately in the past, I don't know how many like months or something. But we get Renee, and she is in the backstage with Private Party. And Private Party's there, and they also ask that the Bucks be there as well. We have Renee, Private Party, and the Young Bucks. Mainly it's Private Party delivering the message. What do they say, Ryan?
We were so close. We were right there. Our party was canceled, but we want to still party. We're all about that party. We're going to get back. We're going to get our shot against the Bucks again. We're going to take those titles. We have a couple more months left in the year, and we promise titles, and that gold is coming around our waist. Boom.
They didn't talk that much, I guess. Not as much as you just talked. Their message was pretty much they were congratulating the Bucks for winning, but yes, they won their shot. They were close. And Matthew admits that he was wrong about them being a mid-card act. They took them to the limit. But
get to the limit.
But Nicholas says, as for a rematch, that doesn't work for us, brother. That is the last chance at the belt. So, as they leave off camera, Stokely enters the string, and he kind of needles them a little bit more about how they turned down his help. Talks about how they've been in AEW since the Obama administration, have nothing to show for it. And that the next time they wrestle for the belts, and if they lose, Private Party should be done. Because Isaiah is the real single star anyway.
Oh, he's trying to cause a little tension, a little friction between the two party members. He's trying to have some solo parties, but they're not gonna fall for that. No, 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 no. Not my private party boys.
Solo parties. That sounds like your high school life.
And college and post college.
That's okay.
No, they're not gonna fall for it. They're not gonna fall for it.
I feel like we always go to the whole trying to sow seeds of dissent among tag teams.
I mean, yes, but like you kind of have to, because like if you're trying to break down a team, not necessarily break up, but like tear down a team because they're you hate them, the best thing to do so the seeds of dissent. Like that's what I would do. It's the most logical play against a tag team. If like I would wanted to get the Bucks out of my way, I would try to break them up.
Sure. I don't feel like enough. I don't think anyone's ever really done that. Like not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Bucks, as they left one backstage segment, they show up on another one. But they're joined by the rest of the Elite. So Jack Perry and Kazuchika Okada. And Jack says that today is a special day because today is Kenny Omega's birthday. And that they want to give him something special. And they have a nice black cake that says "Happy Birthday, Kenny" or something on it. But then Jack dumps a bucket full of like raw meat. It looks like livers and other stuff to kind of represent Kenny's intestines. So he dumps it all over the cake. Okada says, "Happy birthday, bitch." And then Jack leaves the segment by saying, "Get well soon, Kenny, or die. I don't care." So does this mean Kenny is getting closer and closer to coming back?
It feels like it. Like, well, I mean, it was his birthday, so there is just the nice timing, and it's instant heat to say like, it's your birthday. I'm gonna shit on it because people love you. So, but it does feel like, why bring up his name if he's that far away? And we did hear rumors that he was like improving. So, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I hope so. I mean, I don't know, but like, obviously, I don't know. Of course, I don't know, but it does feel weird that this is the first. I know it was his birthday, but it does still feel weird that this is the first time they've mentioned him.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go for Team Kenny returns.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think I saw some interview where Bushi said that Kenny getting closer to returning as well.
That's what so.
Well, let's hope that happens soon, because as more of their wrestlers have gotten back off of injury and everything else, that'd be a nice way to end the year. We go back to the ring for wrestling, because that's what we do. We're the best wrestle. And
we're the best wrestle.
What's that?
I don't know. I made a bad joke.
Well, we have trios action with the conglomeration consisting of Orange Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Kyle O'Reilly versus the Elite, being the Bucks and Okada. So, Ryan, do your worst.
This is a tough one. Because trios matches, you know me, I can never even remember spots in trios matches because there's just so much that goes on. They're clusterfuck. So that's my first prediction. It's a clusterfuck. I love a clusterfuck, but it's still a clusterfuck. My second prediction is Orange Cassidy and Okada have a stare down in the middle of the ring. They have their moment, and which is big for Orange Cassidy because like he's staring down Okada. I'm gonna skip to the end. The Bucks win with the the EVP trigger on Rocky Romero.
Okay. I think I might give you negative. I feel like you're really off. There's no face off between Orange and Okada.
Oh, that's a letdown.
And no EVP trigger to Rocky. Yeah, there's some clusterfuckery, but it wasn't to the level of some of these 6-man tags. But
I mean, there definitely had to be clusterfuck.
yeah, there's always the whole like all the guys in the ring doing stuff. I will just try to highlight a little bit from my notes. So Okada and O'Reilly start early. They exchange strikes and forearm shots. OC and Kyle demonstrate some of their tag team work they've been doing lately, kind of helping set each other up for some tag team moves. Kyle goes on a little rampage and starts taking out all 3 members of the Elite by himself until he's holding on to Okada in a guillotine, and that's when Matt Jackson jumps off the top rope with a good old elbow drop onto Kyle. The Bucks then try to get ready to do the EVP trigger on Kyle, but as they go down to pump up their shoes, they take way too long pumping them up, and Kyle gets up looking confused, watching them pump up their shoes, and then tag Orange in. Orange gets in off the hot tag, gets ready for the Orange Punch, but as he turns around to deliver the Orange Punch, he gets a psycho knee from someone. And that someone being Yuta. So Wheeler beats him, Pac and Claudio come in. They start destroying the rest of the faces. Pac had a briefcase now that he's hitting people with. The Elite escape up the ramp and watch everything unfold. Top Flight comes out to try to help even the odds, but they get taken out. And then Dark Order comes out, yells at the Elite on their way out, saying, "Why aren't you doing anything? This is your company." The Dark Order gets taken out. Alex Reynolds gets strung up by his own belt by Marina Shafir and just choked out. Mox grabs the microphone and says, "This is the cost of doing business."
Okay, there's not a chance in hell I saw the BCC coming out for this match.
So
did the BCC and the Elite interact at all?
No. So the Elite hung up they're on the ramp, just watching everything unfold, and eventually Jack Perry comes out from the tunnel and taps them and tells them just like it's not our problem, and they walk away.
Did they look like they wanted to do something?
I think there might have been a moment of being conflicted of like, maybe we should do something, but no. And that was until Jack came out and got them.
I'm wondering if...
And Jack is the one that, Moxley just call him a sweet boy. And Jack is more likely to fall in favor of the BCC than the Elite.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with that because clearly they gave up on that Elite storyline a while ago for whatever reason. That may have something to do with the story they came up with Mox and realized there would be a lot of overlap and stuff like that, or something fell in their lap they weren't expecting, or with the injuries, or I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and predict. I know nothing.
I think Jack Perry's character now is a little bit more dark and sinister. Would fit far more with the BCC than
because the Elite isn't dark and sinister.
No, they'd like to manipulate and power, and use their power, but not to that violent nature.
Interesting. I'm very interesting.
Maybe eventually we get the Elite and Kenny back together versus the BCC down the road.
I would dig that.
Kind of like I think what we kind of all hope for. And speaking of that, the cameras do catch up with the Elite as they in the backstage area. And the interviewer is asking them, how you let this happen on your watch, and before they can answer, they're confronted by Daniel Garcia and Private Party, pretty much again asking them, "Hey, you guys built this company 5 years ago. You're just going to let them do this to the company?
You built this city."
So we have a lot of teams, a lot of people involved in the story.
I like that though. Like the flaw of the EVP story, besides them not following up on certain things and not playing the logic out, was that it didn't feel big. It felt insular. And like it's more fun when it feels big. Like when it feels like especially because this isn't and I don't want to make this comparison because it's not the same, but like when the NWO was big, was because it made it feel like the whole company was some like you still had your other feuds and you still had other shit going on, but it was pulling in people from all over the company because they were just so pervasive. Now the BCC isn't the NWO; they're not outsiders coming in. They're not. They're just doing their own thing. It should pull all these people in, so I'm very excited for that.
And I like the fact that based on what Mox has just consistently said about how he's fighting against the locker room now, is how being the partying, dancing, celebrating, goofing around, filming YouTube videos, that's the kind of people that are in the locker room now that he wants to get rid of. That really addresses like all the people involved. I mean, Private Party, dancing, doing all their silliness. Daniel Garcia for a long time, just dancing and celebrating and not taking things seriously. Orange Cassidy, kind of similar, same way, not taking things seriously for a long time.
But Orange Cassidy's the only exception that I would say, though, because like in the recent years, he's been far more serious.
Yeah, and then Dark Order for a long time wasn't serious until they got a little bit more serious again in the last couple months. So I think it's helping stoke a fire with a lot of teams again and making them feel more important to people, and to give them a little bit more aggression, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so I will go back. I'll just skip ahead to the part of there's a segment where later on the show they cut to backstage and Mox and the BCC are beating up the same teams that interfered. So they're taking out Top Flight and Dark Order. And then eventually they jump in their pickup truck and drive off. And then Evil Uno gets in the camera and gives a very impassioned speech about challenging the BCC to a fight, no matter where, because Dark Order's been here since day one, and Top Flight is there, and they also challenge the BCC. I think they're challenging for the trios title. They want the trio belts off of them.
I'm thinking this through. I mean, I like this. If they can use this to re-elevate some teams, I'd be all for it. I love the fact that they attack the teams in the back, like trying to you don't see that a lot. It was fresh. Of course, at some point the BCC they got to be careful because you don't want I've said it before with this mysterious something else that they keep referring to. You'll be very careful with that because if you don't deliver, it's going to ruin everything. But also, at some point, the BCC is going to have to get caught and beat up.
Right. And I think the thing is that the BCC works because they're a unified front. They're able to take apart all these teams from AEW in the locker room because they're not working as a bigger whole. They're working as a tag team or a group of 3 guys instead of working as a group of 9 guys against 4. That's what I see when I watch.
That makes a lot. That makes so if AEW can unite, then you have
a numbers game. Like it's
okay. I'm with it. I'm with it.
But all right, well, we go back to get a recap of Swerve at WrestleDream, and that leads into a match of Leo Rush versus Shelton Benjamin.
Okay. I think this is a quick match, but a very back and forth and good match. I think Leo does the Leo things, like he runs around the ropes and he does like interesting reversals and stops and spins and things. I think he comes off the top rope, gets reversed. I think Sheldon takes advantage of the I'm blanking on words that I have. Sheldon takes advantage of his power. Thank you. Why could I not think of power? Jesus, Sheldon takes advantage of his power. Slams Leo around, does some reversals, catches him off the top rope, that type of thing. He wins because he needs to win if it's his first match in AEW. Yeah, that's what I don't know what his finisher is in AEW, so he just wins. That's my.
All right. Well, you are correct. He does win because you can't have him go out there and lose his first match. And it was very much the story of size since he had like 100 pounds on Leo. Leo was using his quickness as much as he could, but Sheldon just kind of tossed him around. He, had a couple of German suplexes on the outside on the floor. Trying to think. Leo had a couple of near falls with a spinning DDT. Shelton Benjamin used some of his explosiveness and did the whole thing where he jumps to the top of the turnbuckle and grabs Leo for an underhook suplex off the top of the turnbuckle.
That is a very Shelton move.
Yeah, he does the whole quick hop and then suplex. Lots of suplexes by Shelton in this match, but in the end, he finishes Leo off with kind of it almost looks like an exploded power slam. I don't know. It's a power slam, but it's just a little bit of a different flavor of it. And
okay, all right.
After the match, MVP puts one of his business cards in Leo's tights and says he wants Swerve and Shelton to finish the conversation they had at Wrestle Dream. So basically, they want set up a confrontation between the two of them, which we later find out that will happen on October 30th, Dynamite, Fright Night Dynamite, because Swerve responds in a backstage segment and pretty much just says that he knows Shelton Benjamin, he knows how great of a wrestler he is. He has, he knows that he breaks records, but basically Swerve breaks bones. So he's ready to face Shelton anywhere, any place, anytime.
Which obviously is going to lead to Bobby Lashley showing up.
Yes. I thought maybe he would show up tonight, but now that Swerve's going to have a match with Shelton, yeah.
That's when he shows up, yeah. It's the match with Shelton.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping it's just, I don't want him to beat Shelton, so I'm hoping it's a DQ.
I have a feeling that's the route they're going to go with it, is a DQ. I don't think there's no reason to have Shelton lose yet. So, I mean, you could to Swerve. It's not the end of the world because it is Swerve. But
so yeah,
it makes more sense to have Lashley just come out in the middle of the match and power slam Swerve, just utterly destroy him. They break him. I must break you type deal.
So yeah, Big G was saying that it was the exploder suplex.
Okay, so he's the same one. Okay.
Yeah, similar.
I wasn't sure if they do tend to stay with the same finisher, but every now and again a guy doesn't like his finisher from the previous company and they switch it up just because it's a built-in excuse to switch it.
Yeah. It looks a lot more like a power slam to me than a suplex, but all right.
Well, I don't know. It's a suplex, okay? Get used to it.
Fine, semantics, whatever.
No, not semantics. Accept it. It's a suplex.
Did I give you a grade on that last one?
You didn't, and now that I'm making fun of you, I'm feeling my grade's going to go down.
I don't remember what you even guessed anymore, so I don't remember either. 2.25. I'm giving you scores like whose lines it anyway, where the points don't matter.
Everything's made up, and the points don't matter. Yes. Now we're going to do a hoedown.
A Joe-down?
A Joe-down.
No, actually, now we're going to go back into the ring with Tony Schiavone. And he calls out Don Callis because Don Callis had called a press conference in the ring. Why he calls a press conference, I don't know, because there's no press there. He's just standing at a podium. And he comes out and he's flanked by 2 members of the Callis family. That would be Lance Archer and Brian Cage. And he pretty
Where's
much
Fletch?
Fletch and Takeshita come out a little bit later.
Oh, so those are the big deals in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So I don't want to give you too much away, but so pretty much, I'll say Cal speaks a little bit, Takeshita speaks a little bit, and Fletcher speaks a little bit. If you want to get any kind of messaging that they might have.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
So Don speaks a little bit. Don talks first. Takeshita talks a little bit, and then Kyle talks.
Okay. Don hypes up how great his family is. The Don Callis family. We have champions, and we beat that Will Ospreay and that Ricochet. We are the best. And then,
why is he the Colonel? He sounds like,
I don't know, man. You know me. I do voices. I don't do them well, but I do them. And then he gets off the mic, and Takeshita comes on saying, "I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest. I won. Me. I beat Ospreay. I beat Ricochet. I didn't even need any help." Clearly, he needs help because the next guy is Kyle Fletcher. Kyle's like, "Will was always holding me down, always hogging the spotlight. It's my time. The time is now for Kyle Fletcher." Am I right?
Not really.
Damn it.
Not really. So Callis initially was talking about basically how Archer and Cage are going to be his weapons to get the tag titles. He had a taste of the tag titles back at Grand Slam, like when he was close to winning them with Kyle Fletcher and Ospreay. So now he wants Archer and Cage to go win them. I don't see it.
Yeah, no, those two are not winning the titles.
But it gives them something to do for a role within the family. Takeshita comes out and speaks in his native language, and then he pretty much says that he's going to defend his championship across the world, which we kind of talked about earlier about how he had some matches set up across other countries. And then Fletcher, looking a little bit all mopey, comes in the ring, and he says all week he's always been hearing the last few days is, why, Kyle, why? Why did you do it? People want an explanation. And he pretty much says, too bad. People don't deserve one. So he's not going to give people an explanation of why he did what he did.
He didn't give an explanation?
Nope.
But I want to know. Did anyone ask?
No one asked.
Were there reporters?
Nope. That was it.
But it's a press conference.
I know. There's no. Callis just said that, Callis just said it because, wrestling journalists are awful and whatever. He's going to ask and answer his own questions.
But that's not a press conference. That's just a promo or a vignette.
Yeah.
A press conference is question and answer with outside sources.
I think the only differentiator was that he had a podium in the ring.
I'm not pleased for his misuse of the word press conference.
Yeah. So that was that segment.
That's like it.
I will give you a 1.
Sup, sluts?
Kate, welcome to Ryan Guesses Wrestling, or Ryan's sucking at it.
Coming in aggressive. Joe, show her the graphic. You worked hard on it. She deserves to see the graphic.
I did. And we have some new people joining us. So for those joining us in the chat, we are playing Ryan Guesses Wrestling because Ryan did not watch Dynamite due to prior commitments.
Oh my gosh, running from the grind.
But
where have you been all night, huh, Kate?
Grinding.
What are you at a high school dance?
Maybe I was, or maybe I was.
So yes, Kate, here's our intro to Ryan Guess's Wrestling Now.
RG Dub. That was incredible. And I'm sorry that it sounds like Ryan's letting you down. Like, it sounds like that graphic was amazing. And then just like on it feels like
I have not been on my
doing
A
such a
game
good
tonight.
job.
No. I'd like to point out to one LT photo, this isn't like Sansa Blind. Joe gives a segment, I predict what I think happened, and then Joe tells me if I was right or wrong.
That's a lot. That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I can let Kate do some of this too. So, Kate, we're now on the backstage interview segment with Renee and Mariah.
Okay.
So, basically, I'll let Ryan can guess what Mariah had to say, and then since you watched Dynamite like a responsible,
of course,
show reviewer, you can grade him. I am grading him out of 4.
Okay.
I'm using our search metrics, so you can go 2.5, 2 3/4.
Okay.
Whatever you feel like. So
beautiful.
Ryan, guess what Mariah said.
Mariah calls herself the Glamour, says she's amazing, that everyone loves her, that she easily beat Willow, that she is the greatest.
I just say what Mariah said, not what Kate says.
I know, that's fair. I'm assuming, based on the traction it got online, that some reference of the press conference was made. I don't know what she would say. I don't know how you handle it, but I gotta believe some reference to the press conference was made. But then she just ends up basically being like, I still have the belt. I'm going to continue to have the belt, and no one's going to take it from me, but in an Australian accent.
She's not Australian.
I know, but I was going to say British, but it's funnier if she did an Australian.
You should have heard his Don House impression. It sounded like Foghorn Leghorn. It was very much.
That's upsetting.
I say.
That's unfortunate, honestly. Do we don't have any sound effects like dun, 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 do we?
Well, I don't know why you would use that one.
Because you were mostly wrong. In fact, mostly it was the opposite. There it is.
Explain how I was wrong.
Mariah May literally was calling out for more competition. You're like, no one's ever going to take this from me. She was like, please, somebody come try and take this from me.
That's not did she say that they'd beat her?
No, well, I don't think there's many champions that say, like, someone's going to beat me for this title. But she certainly wasn't just like, I'm going to hold on to it forever. She was like, there's no competition for me. She did reference the press conference, so I would give it maybe a 1 1/4. But really, where you completely lost it was on the accent, because it wasn't Australian. She's just British. So.
I'm British, but Tony Storm's Australian. I thought maybe she would try the Tony Storm thing.
No, not so much on that. So big goose
All
egg
right,
on the
I'm going to tell you what
accent
happened.
portion.
Is I was about to put on an accent, and I realized I couldn't do either.
You and your little Fred Durst self over there, not even close.
You should see, Ryan, that someone did answer Mariah's call and appeared on camera with her toward the end of the segment.
All right, let me guess. Hold on. All right, give me. It's not Tony Storm, right? Give me that.
Yes, right. It's not Tony Storm's not coming back on a random backstage interview segment.
Correct.
You know, sometimes I wonder what AEW would do, so I can't say that's not the gonna happen.
You better, Ryan. Come on, you know better.
All right, hold on. All right, so she's heel. It's got to be face. I know who I'd want it to be, but I don't think that's who they would do. It's just one of those days. You don't want to wake up Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks. I don't really know why. I just want to justify ripping someone's head off.
You're stalling. Come on.
I am because I really don't. I'm blanking. Like I know I would love it to be Thunder Rosa, but it's not Thunder Rosa.
The more you stall, the more close you become. You get closer to rolling.
I said it.
Rolling.
What'd you say? What was your answer?
I said as much as I don't think it's her. It's the only name I can name was Thunder Rosa.
It was not. It was Anna Jay.
See, that crossed my mind, but I thought, nah, she's not ready for this.
Anna. Oh, Anna.
Well, I feel like they've been heating her back up again for a title shot.
Oh,
yeah,
what?
she's
You know what? I should.
picking up some dubs.
Yeah, didn't she just beat Harley Cameron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Rosa did return to the ring, though, just not an AEW ring yet, but a very promising sign.
That's kind of why I thought her, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that makes me very happy because the spot she got injured at, I was like, that was a terrifying spot. Like, that could have been career ending. That could have been months and months and months and months. But I was very encouraged to see that because one thing right now with AEW is all their champions are heels, right? So you're setting up some cool chases, but on the women's side, you already went to the Willow well with both of them, right? Anna Jay's being rebuilt, but like Deanna's a heel. Rosa was out, but is now back. Like it's just a very heel heavy division right now. So, this I thought was a productive use of time, far more productive than Ryan's time spent trying to guess what was going on here.
Well, maybe Ryan will redeem himself. We do have another backstage interview segment with Renee, the hardest working backstage interview person.
The GOAT.
She is with Ricochet. Ryan, we kind of touched on it earlier. This is kind of Ricochet's response to his Wrestle Dream match that did not end up in a fairy tale dream or fairy tale ending.
It was a Wrestle Nightmare is what it was.
It was.
So I gotta figure this out. So Ricochet, this is going to lead to a Ricochet match. I don't know if, first of all, is it Rampage or Collision, but it's coming up in the next two, one of those. He talks about how he, the match and not happy with the way it went down. He needs, prove that he's belongs at that level. I'm just trying to think of who they'd have challenge him. I want to believe someone interrupted his interview because that's like very commonplace in AEW that you're just standing there talking and then someone walks up. But I'm going to say that they don't name an opponent but they have Ricochet in action. They do like a graphic Ricochet in action. Now I just have to decide is it Rampage or Collision.
Flip a coin. Make up your mind.
Fine, Collision. Fine, Collision.
Kate, go ahead and give him the star, the out of 4 rating of Hack.
All right, explain to me what I got wrong.
He calls out Takeshita pretty directly here and does not get interrupted by anybody. So just like mega.
He plays Takeshita won, but he didn't beat him. He beat Will. And
in fact, he hasn't been pinned at all since joining AEW. Very good stuff from Ricochet.
Okay.
Very good promo, by the way. Like he's not like lighting up the world, but he's a very natural talker when you write shit that makes sense for him. So that was neat.
Yeah.
So I'm reading in the chat that I was right-ish.
He did throw out the open challenge on Collision.
I didn't think it was an open challenge, but I did predict to have a match on Collision because I know how AEW works.
Mid.
So Kate, what would you give him out of 4?
This was like Jimmy and Jay Uso. This was like 1 and 3/4 stars, I'd say.
Kate's a very harsh grader.
She is.
I am, because none of this is in the Tokyo Dome. Did you guys talk about how Zack Sabre Jr. is your new IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the World?
Talk about something that doesn't rate above a 1.
Wow.
Number 1 in my heart, maybe.
Oi, I'm a ticker.
He didn't say oi. He's British, not Aussie.
British say oi too. No, British say oi too.
All British people are now Australians, right?
Aussie.
They say
Aussie.
oi too.
Oi.
Listen. When I've seen British in movies, I've heard them say oi. So
I'm afraid to ask Ryan, what is Takeshita's accent then?
Good day, mate.
So everyone's Australian or New Zealand.
Dickhead, Nate. That's the whole Z.
Good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. No, oh no.
It's also just funny because most of that stable is Australian. So
There you go. See, I know what it is.
Well, should we get into the main event of the night, where we have the Battle of the Jays? We have Jay White versus Christian Cage.
hell yeah.
Ryan, to you worse.
So I know that. Can I don't call out spots? Spots isn't my thing. Jay White looks fantastic. I'm gonna say that he continues to look fantastic. He is just really cool.
And that looks fantastic.
But I meant like with his moves. But yes, he does have those wonderful abs. He puts on some cool some cool reversals. He does some really nice stuff. He loses though. I know that because Christian has the contract for the title. You can't have him lose unless you really want a WWE Money in the Bank this, where you have the guy who holds that always lose. So Christian doesn't lose. He wins. My guess is outside interference. The debate I have is I think you told me that the BCC left in a truck, because I want to say they interfere because they've been interfering and it would like cap off the night. But if they left in a truck, how did they get back so quickly? Unless the truck just went around the block, which then makes the Dark Order and Top Flight just look dumb for not waiting 5 minutes. Is he done with Hangman? Because that's what it comes down to. Are you done with Hangman? Does Hangman interfere? Okay, but then the question is, does Hangman interfere? I don't know if I like that, though. I don't know if that they would do that. I'm trying to guess off facial expressions how right I am on any of this, and it's not helping. Because I know selling. You know selling, son of a bitch. Or does Nick... Does what's his name? The kid. What's his name?
Nick Wayne?
Nick Wayne. Does Nick Wayne cheat? Wait, and then where are the guns? All right, I got it. Oh, wait, they don't have Switchblade anymore. That kind of screws that up. Because I was going to have like a brawl, and then in the brawl, cheating occurred via Mama Wayne. But they don't have Switchblade anymore to make that happen.
Would it be a brawl for all?
It would be a brawl for all, but the Bang Bang Gang has 4 people to Nick Wayne 1, and they're all 3 to 1, and that those odds don't make. All of them get kicked out. I'm going to start with that. Everyone from the sidelines gets kicked out. I'm going to say, don't know. Christian wins. Hangman distracts Jay White from the crowd. Christian hits him with the contract. Christian wins.
Okay. Before Kate gives her verdict on everything, I'm going to play a sounder for you, Ryan. Instead of a horn, I think I have this one.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Now, I want to say something. One quick question. What's my grade besides being the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
Kate?
Me first. Honestly, that clip, though amazing, is not necessarily applicable because you were closer on this segment than other things that you heard. But I'm really glad that we played it because it's fucking phenomenal.
Was Hangman involved?
Yes.
I want to say I was going away from my Hangman theory until I saw this in chat when I was brought up Hangman, and I went back to it then.
Well, now you get minus a star for
That's fine. I'm being honest. I am telling you I was walking away from it because I didn't personally think they would go right back to that well.
Okay,
but
well, like, learn something and lie, cheat, and steal. Okay.
no, I'm an honest man.
I would say probably if you hadn't admitted you cheated, you'd probably be closer to like a 3.5. But because you admitted you cheated, I'm gonna have to bring it down to 2.75.
That's acceptable.
Which is still your highest rating of the night for me.
So how did Hangman interfere?
Okay, you want to explain that to him?
No, but you didn't even give your star rating yet. But.
I'll say 3.25.
3.25 is fair. 3.25 is fair. How did Hangman fully interfere? Well, he came down. There's the greatest meme in the history of the world now, where he's laying at ringside looking like this, which is pretty great.
Why?
He was trying to not be seen by the referee.
Yeah, I was trying to be behind the referee's back, but he very much was there.
I'm gonna have to go look that up. That's hilarious.
But his eyes, like, I said this on Denise's show, and I said this the past couple of weeks, like, his eyes are doing more storytelling than people have in their whole bodies right now. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. But he tried for the buckshot lariat. Let me pull up my proper notes here, because my brain is elusive, and Denise's show does not go in order, so I can't remember anything. Also, the heat is broken at my place, so I'm just very cold right now.
Wait, why would you need heat?
Because it's cold in my apartment. My apartment is 55 degrees.
Ooh,
I reiterate my question.
Because I'm not
a sweat hog?
An Eskimo.
I am fairly certain you're a coward.
Well, yeah.
Mine is about 65 right now, and I'm kind of chilly.
I'm in the 60s.
I'm a good 10
it.
degrees
it's
lower than
so
that.
great. And I'm going to have a fan on me tonight. Oh, it's going to be.
Kip Sabian also has a distraction here that allows Adam Page to come in with the buckshot lariat. So Cage gets the pin. But I like
Wait,
this.
I thought Kip Sabian was against Christian.
I think I interpret it as we'll have to wait and see. Because you have Cage hitting a reverse DDT on the apron and Sabian coming in for the distraction. I don't know if he's trying to get to Christian or if he's on Christian's side yet. Like, I don't know about you, Joe, but I didn't get like a clear conclusion.
No,
from
and
that.
I mean, commentary tried to play it up as Kip is looking for a father figure.
Yeah.
Oh, if they brought that up, then that's what they're doing. Do we think there's been a pivot because of the unfortunate Switchblade stuff?
Unfortunate
Switchblade stuff? Kill Switch.
Kill Switch, sorry. Kill Switch, Switchblade, they're all in the
Switch
same
them
match.
around.
Yes.
I'm going to sneeze 1 second.
I mean, maybe, but you're losing.
Bless you.
I don't know how you replace your monster with Kip
Sabian, but I'm just saying, when I was booking this in my head, I wanted a big melee, and I realized that Nick Wayne can't do a melee on his own.
Nick Wayne can't do a melee on his own. I think it's more that Kip Sabian would be insidious, that he would mastermind a way in to take Christian down from the inside or try to expedite the breakup from the inside. But I'm intrigued to see where that goes. I think this was a good thing to have. I don't love the ending of this, but having Jay White lose to Christian, I think there's a fun thing where Christian cashes in his thing, wins the title, and then Jay White beats him to avenge this loss, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm also glad that they're continuing Jay White and Adam Page, because I think Adam Page wins the next one, and then you have Jay White winning the feud.
Does Heyman just have nonstop like blood feuds now, where he's going to have these like 3 matches or 5 matches with a guy, and they're just going to like tear each other's heads off?
I think this version of his character is so helped by losses that you might as well. Like, I think him just continuing to unravel is such a fun piece of his trajectory that while he's bulletproof and can take losses like this, have him get into blood feuds like that. I think it's a cool way to go. And I also like that Jay White immediately came back and was like, I'm calling out the 2 people that have prevented me from getting to the title, and then immediately went after both these guys. Good shit.
And Ryan, to your point about outside shenanigans, so Juice and Colton got kicked out because they got caught holding a chair on the outside of the ring, which I don't know why that warrants being kicked out of the ring, because they weren't hitting anyone in the match. They just had the chair in their hand because Nick Wayne was going to try to slide the chair into the ring. But as they left, they dragged Nick away with them, so that evened up the odds.
Okay, because AEW does go to the everyone's been kicked out well, which I don't mind, because normally it just means you don't have constant interference. But I just knew Christian couldn't lose. So then it was just a matter of figuring out how Jay lost without really losing. And Hangman's actually the greatest way, because no one gives a crap that Jay just lost.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like AEW's playbook is very stale right now. There's setting up with like convoluted stuff like this for matches. They're setting up in backstage interviews or people looking on. Like they really have lost their way on like inventive ways to get to matches. So I'm hoping they freshen that up. But this one this made sense. It's just I feel like I see it every episode. So
okay.
But as far as you guessing wrestling, yours was closer than your previous attempts.
Listen, what can I say? I know my hanger.
Well, on a high note. Good job.
Yeah.
And that was, can we play it again? Ryan guesses wrestling.
Joe, are we playing it? Are we playing the graphic?
Roll the clip, bro. Amazing. The production work from Joe on this episode is
so good.
The 15 minutes I spent on that, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I have a question for you since you came in late, but it's a question. Do we think they're gonna return the Elite face?
You know, tonight I thought they did a good job of keeping them heel, but finding an alley to make it seem like you could just have a very easy heel on heel feud. I think being kind of sillier heels lets you very easily be on the other side of guys that are like this vicious. So I don't think that they turn them face. And I'm encouraged by that, because I felt like tonight said they're still heels. Look at their interaction with Private Party, but like them and the Blackpool Combat Club are not on the same page at all. So I think that's a good thing.
My fantasy booking was that Jack Perry would eventually splinter from the Elite since he doesn't fit the Elite mold, and he far fits the BCC's ultra-violent mode. And John Moxley having that interaction with him a while back, I thought that was an interesting relationship with the two. And I just, if Kane gets Poker Game back healthy again, maybe fences will be mended and they will all join forces for a united cause.
Wouldn't hate it. Wouldn't hate it.
Happy
birthday, Kenny Omega. Sorry there were intestines on your cake. Happens. Happens to the best of us.
I don't like cake.
What was that?
It's Kenny Omega's birthday for real, and the Elite had a black birthday cake with red lettering made for him, and then they spilled intestines on the cake, being like, "We know you had your intestines recently taken out," and then they spilled them all over the cake, which was gross.
Okay. And weird. Very weird. Then my second question to you, Kate, before we wrap up for the night. What is a ladder war?
Well, it's weird that you don't know that as someone who is studying history, because you should know your wars. This is a tribute to the historical event of the war at the Ladder, which was an infamous battle in the American Revolution.
Subscribe to your newsletter.
What was that?
I want to subscribe to your newsletter, please.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, go. You can go with it. I'm going to say it's a ladder match, but with multiple ladders. So, would be my guess.
Yeah.
I think it's just a ladder match.
I think Ryan was envisioning some kind of chicken fighting on top of ladders.
I was they were on the ladders and they were moving them closer to each other and hitting the ladders into each other and they push each other off.
That'd be cool as hell. I'm signed up for that.
Two guys on ladders with other ladders jousting like American Gladiators.
There should be an American Gladiators match where they just do what's on American Gladiators.
Nitro and Turbo.
Hell yeah.
Oh, now I'm remembering the Family Matters episode with Gladiators.
Of course. An American classic. What'd you guys think of Wrestle Dream?
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Used that joke twice tonight. I liked it. A lot of good wrestling for a show that was put together very last minute.
Fair. Joe, did you watch it, or were you
I did. I ended up watching. Good wrestling. Felt long. Some of those matches could have been 0-hour matches. Glad that Jericho lost at Wrestle Dream, even though I fear that he might win the rematch.
I fear it so much.
So, but otherwise, yeah, I thought the wrestling was good. I didn't have as much issue with the ending. We talked about a little bit about how the Fletcher turn and the Yuta turn felt similar, but
too similar. I agree.
But the motivations behind them were different. So that's what I was able to separate the two. Of Kyle's was out of jealousy. Yuta's felt more like I'm taking your spot now.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I could see that. And just also because I got here later, I just wanted to say hi, Jesse Ozog. Great to see you in here.
We said hi earlier. Even Ryan says hi when you're not around.
I deny that.
There's no video evidence of it.
None. Not weeks and weeks of it because Kate just is never here.
I'm trying my best, okay?
Are you, though?
Sorry I'm so popular and in demand and that I have to fill in at Fightful and for Denise and that I go to shows all the time because I'm so popular.
All right, Kate. So when you're not here, where are you?
Well, you can find me at Miss Kate Fabe on social media, but you could also find me at Fightful Select every Monday doing your Sour Graps Raw review and on the Fightful main YouTube channel. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays doing your NXT Sour Graps and your ROH and SmackDown post shows at Fightful. Wednesdays when I bother coming around here. This is where I can be.
Oh God! And Joey Joe.
When you're not making incredible graphics, where
Joey
are you?
Jojo Shabadoo.
Graphics are my passion. Find me here on Wednesdays. Otherwise, on social media at _Asian Joe, and of course in my bios on my social medias, you can find a link to my serial review blog, where I actually write reviews on my blog, and more so than someone who has a history blog.
It's true. And not me, despite my rich knowledge of the Ladder Wars, the War at the Ladder, Battle of Ladders.
Wars that happened at Ladder. So when I'm not here, you can find me on all our socials at Mark Order Pod. That might have to be multiple socials now, but we'll see how that plays out. Then you can follow my history blog here for history.com. I am currently in the research phase, which is just reading a bunch of stuff for my next blog on Reconstruction. So that should be interesting for those who won't be bored by it. All right. With that said, we will see you all next week here on the Mark Order Podcast.
This concludes the Mark Order Podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join